Hello everyone, today we are gonna be playing Arlecchino, and with that let's get into the games. This is a new deck I just came up with, so we see how well it works. We are gonna be trying out Lan Yan here as a new character, and lastly we of course have the buffed Frost Operative, as you can see. The deck itself is rather simple, nothing much going on. Ooh, rather nice starting hand, and yeah, this is mostly me testing out the new characters and new buffs, and we'll see what works, what doesn't, and maybe at some later stage I actually have a good Arlecchino deck to showcase. This time we are running the Stove card because the talent now only costs 1 die, so it's very good to use. And actually, you know, play the Stove card as your first play instead of, for example, keeping, like in my previous Arlecchino deck I had the, why cannot I recall the name whenever I need it? Day of Judgment, was it? A Day of Resistance, that's the one. Day of Resistance Arcane, you know, -4 damage basically. Because that Arcane does the exact same that Arlecchino's talent card does, so there was really no need to fish for the talent card, since if you needed to tank damage round 1, just keep the Arcane card. We are gonna take the value from the Vaporize there instead of doing full setup, but we of course, as you can see, still can do a bunch of setup, which is exactly what we are going to do. Unfortunately, some of the Dunyasar value will be lost, though I suppose I could play Timaeus and Golden Troop actually, because it's going to eat 2 dice on Liben, and we can round 3 go all in, and I like that. Still I'm gonna go for this so that we can actually be a threat next round. So yeah, let's talk about a little. Actually, now that I forgot to, there was that new artifact for basically Arlecchino decks, when you do a skill, your active character and the opponent's active character each gain 1 stack of Bond of Life. I did not include it in this deck because, well, we have Frost Operative and we have the Frost Operative's talent card, and mostly because we are playing Lan Yan. I do think that artifact is very good with Arlecchino if you are, for example, playing Frost Operative and another Cryo character. Because in that case, you are anyway gonna be using Cryo Resonance, you are anyway going to do big numbers of damage, so you might as well have the artifact that makes it even easier to do big damage with Arlecchino. But in this case, we do not have that artifact, simply because I do feel we are not going to get much value from having it, because we can just have Frost Operative do the exact same. I mean, ±1. What does it really matter? Our opponent is doing interesting things here, because, I mean, what is your deck is about summoning with Strongly and Shiori. I don't know what you are waiting for, my
An
guy.
insurmountable problem, I presume.
That's first one down.
Must learn from my mistakes.
And we might as well play a Paimon. We are gonna be having a shit ton of dice for next round, and with that, I already do think this game is kind of in the bag. I am still using Engulfing Lightning as the weapon of choice. Moonpiercer is still the number 2 second best weapon. Some may even say that you might as well use Right for Reward. That too works. I still think that engulfing lightning is the best because, well, when you especially when you have frost operative, you are anyway going to do large numbers of damage. I don't think we need to play tenacity here. I mean, even if they do attack, I mean, I guess we are going to refresh the skill so that we have max energy on Arlecchino. We do not have to fear for her life. Anyway, I don't like, even if they redo the skill, it's not going to be that much damage.
Please appreciate my
I think we are going to see a Lan Yan skill, and actually I do have to say, like, Lan Yan, I see a couple of use cases.
Let's go, Tomato.
I mean, the number one obvious use case for Lan Yan is, you know, grab. But that's the unimaginative, the boring, the easy way out. Let's say that. It is the boring, unimaginative, easy way out of using Lan Yan. I'm going to stick it with grab because Lan Yan creates a lot of shields. Anyone can fucking do that. Use your brain and come up with something more creative. Like I've done here. We are using Lan Yan as a shield generator for Arlecchino and Frost Operative because there's no point in using healing cards when you're playing Arlecchino because Arlecchino is never going to get any value from your healing cards. So instead of that, we are having a character that can first do a swirl, which we are going to see here. Actually, I could burst as well, but actually burst is good damage. We have the dice, and we are actually going to burst.
Please hold for just a moment.
I was somewhat thinking of playing one of these, but anyway, having Lan Yan, firstly, you do enemy damage, which means you can easily swirl and get a bunch of Bond of Life on the opponent team, just like this. Second, it gives you a switch for free. I mean, the value of this skill is ridiculous. Like up to 3 shields, a swirl, and a free switch. Like goddamn. But anyway, it creates you shields. It gives you the swirl, and most importantly, it's a good tank for damage. Like if you have seen my previous Arlecchino deck, I had Jean as an emo character to tank damage. Now we have Lan Yan, and I do think, like, for what I used in my previous video, Jean for Lan Yan does all of that but better. And here our opponent is not looking very good. I mean, we might as well just do a normal attack with Lan Yan here. I mean, we already have the free swap. And there's really no point in doing anything else. Show me going to do a skill, maybe a normal attack on top of that. But should not have, I mean, unless they pull out, what's it called? I haven't lost yet. If they do not pull out, I haven't lost yet. That's not going to be enough to stop Arlecchino from going down. And anyway, I don't think they would do enough damage now because of the Timaeus. We can get the artifact for free.
An insurmountable problem,
We can
I presume.
do a skill. There's no need to burst yet. And probably do a Frost Operative skill on top of that. Then next round we should be able to win the game. We can just have Lan Yan tank most of the damage along with Frost Operative. Let's see, yeah, we can get 2 skills from the Frost Operative, which is very, very good. Looks like it's gonna be Frost Operative tanking the damage, but no matter. There goes one. And there goes a second one. The, talent card from Zhongli is now pointless. They aren't gonna be healing that Bond of Life anytime soon, so this game is as good as done. But I am anyway going to let you enjoy the rest of the show. But yeah, I mean, Lanian was probably like the easiest of the new cards to like stick into any of the decks. Like you can almost take almost any deck and stick Lanian in there, and voila, it kind of works. But yeah, if you're a boring person, you play Lanian with Crab. If you are actually a funny guy, you play Lanian with other characters than Crab. I mean, she is a good, I'd say, like in stall decks.
This is order.
She is not horrible for stall decks. But I do wonder like how, because if you use for example double Hydro and Lanian, you aren't gonna be doing like almost any damage unless you have Furina like with burst. I do wonder, maybe Lanian is better in, you know, stall decks that do not use double Hydro. Yep, and they give up. Well, anyway, on to the next one. Looks like we are up against a Yunjin deck. But as I was saying before that little cutoff, Lanian in stall decks. Like, I can see it work because of the amount of shields and the fact that there is no limit to the size of the shields. This is actually... No, I don't think we want to keep the weapon here.
No need to fret. I shall handle this.
Well, if they start with that... I mean, they are anyway going to do a skill. I do need to think about... Actually, do I need to even think about that? I can just first do a skill, then play the talent card. Then play this, then play that. And it's good. Yeah, let's just go with that.
Laid bare.
Or actually, if they now go for a skill, I could switch to Frost Operative. And get a bunch of... That's actually Providence. Okay, now there's no point going to Frost Operative. We aren't going to get any extra stacks, so we are just going to tank the damage here.
Flag fly.
Then... I think we will switch. There's no way they're going to, you know, go in round 1. I do know the Yunjin decks, they cannot go in round 1. They aren't that good.
Please appreciate my sincerity.
I guess we'll... Because there's not gonna be any value for Dunia Sword. We're going to play the strategized. It's not like there's many cards we especially need or want against Yunjin, but we need to fish for the operative talent card. That would be nice. Of course. And they switch, no surprise. And the good thing about them using Candice is the fact that we can just get an easy swirl with Lanian. Because they are going to be stuck on their active character. Actually, I could have pulled for the talent round 1 now that I think about it, but too late for that. We're just going to do a skill.
Go on.
And then we'll see what they do. Somewhat annoying cards we have here. But yeah, I'm anyway probably at a later stage. I mean, gonna play Arlecchino with the new artifact, Bond of Light artifact, as well as another cryo, you know, double cryo with Arlecchino, of course, with the Frost Operative. Gonna do that probably later. I do a normal attack. Then I'm going to just switch. They do not have a lot of cards, but that also means they do not have the weapon for Yunjin, and as long as they do not have the weapon, they are not a threat. So what will you do, my friend? This will give you 1 dice, that will probably not activate, especially if I do setup here, which could be quite good. I would really like to take that. Let's go like this and see what we get. Timaeus is nice. Let's play that and hope for not the one I wanted, unfortunately. We can... I do want to do the skill because that's just too good to pass up. Because even if they now do a burst, that's not gonna be many attacks. I mean, what's it gonna be? I mean, there's no talent card even. Now I could save the tenacity. I could. And I think I will, because we can play it on Arlecchino, then next round switch to Arlecchino. Because they did not get the talent card for Yunjin, their damage is gonna be real low. Yeah, I think it's fine. We can just save all the tenacity instead of the cheaper option. I mean, of course, if they now do the normal attacks, the stadium would clear the point of life, but they do not do it on Yunjin, which is interesting. Okay, another fast map is really nice. We only need Cryo on Yunjin and we can snipe it with Arlecchino. Let's play the tenacity.
An insurmountable problem, I presume.
Now will it be a burst or a skill, I wonder. I mean, we do have to consider ourselves with the stadium's last buff here, because that along with Candace's burst means that they actually do some damage with one of their characters. Right for reward.
We shall prevail.
Unexpected, I do have to say. Let's hope for something nice. I was hoping for Providence, but that will have to do. We anyway don't really need it. It's just 1 energy away to get the burst up. Now let's see. It's probably best to go for Frost Operatives, since if they go to any of their characters, I mean, the Candace will die, Zhongli will take a lot of damage, Yunjin will be easy to snipe, so waiting. You know, and we can play Paimon to end our round. So I do like... I would like to get... I haven't lost yet sometime soon to my hand. I do have 1 copy of it in the deck. But I do start to think this game is gonna be ours. Oh, also because, you know, I didn't know what better to use in this deck. I am of course running 1 copy of what's the name of that card? Hold on. 1 copy of I'd Rather Lose Money itself, because this is like, oh no, the opponent played Asda. Anyway. Like this one card completely counters Dice Engine decks and Ace Daha decks.
Flags up.
Of course, most often those decks are one and the same. But let's see. We fast swap here. It's gonna be pyro damage. We are usually gonna do enough. So we are of course going
An
to
insurmountable
take
problem,
it here
I presume.
like that.
True.
They might go for a burst. Nope, they will not. We can go for a burst. Oh! But it's not going to do much. Thanks to the Bond of Life. That almost seems like we are in trouble, but then again we can just
Witness
burst.
my rise.
Then we'll probably reapply the skill. Yes, we'll reapply the skill and end our round probably on Lan Yan so that the Candice burst isn't a threat to our Frost operative.
Transfixed.
Coming.
And anyway, from here we can usually do a skill, get a bunch of shields and the free swap. But yeah, I don't think this game is going to show us anything interesting anymore. Our opponent has kind of already lost when they lost Yunjin, because Candice can do stuff, but it's too late. But our opponent is putting up a valiant effort, so we are going to respect that effort.
Solidify!
Oof, hold on. 6, the burst is going to be enough. I mean, we might as well.
I've been waiting.
Yes.
The banquet is nearing its end.
Another one bites the
You shouldn't see
dust.
me like this.
Well, no surprise there. I mean, you can do a normal attack, but it's gonna be game after that. And with that, I'll see you in the next match.
Train harder.
Alright. Looks like we have a Navia stall. Rather interesting, using, you know, Jury, mostly because you aren't getting that many crystallized reactions, but then again, if it's meant to be a stall deck, they're just going to
No need to
slowly
fret.
gather up.
I shall handle
Oh, and
this.
especially if they start with Jury, then I understand, of course. Because you can fish for the 1 geo damage after your character does a skill, and then just Barbara skill, and
Lend me a hand.
it's as easy as that. Hold on, they need to switch. So basically, I mean, the Frost Operative is going to be our #1 cannon here. I'm just wondering whether I want to fish for any cards here. I guess I'll just do these two along with talent. Let's start with talent card. This will make it a little easier for the opponent to cleanse the pyro, but with Frost Operative it should not be that big of a deal. Actually, now that I think about it, I could go for full setup here. Because if they do a skill, they are going to have the... Ooh. Well, I will be playing that. Let's play this. Alright, okay, that's gonna be... No, hold on, we're gonna be overflowing 1 die if I do that, but I still like the idea, so... We are, of course, doing Or I'm going to replace the Timaeus, because if we draw Timaeus next round or a second Paimon, it's gonna be much better to have double Dunia Sword. And anyway, all of our, you know, artifacts cost 2 or more. Oh, they actually... Oh. Anyway, they cost a lot of die, so we can just do this. And, you know, against all decks, Frost Operative is going to be our number 1 cannon, like I mentioned. Of course, we also have the benefit that Arlecchino simply does not take any damage. I could save. They did not go for a skill, but we do have a fast swap actually, so let's save the... And Nemo dies. That's a little unfortunate. Let's hope for... Now I kind of have to do that as well. I was hoping for Providence this stupid ass game. I mean, I can do a normal attack, it's not... Because I don't want to do... Actually, hold on, let's think about this a little. We switch. We do a skill. We Paimon, 2 dice for Liben. That's actually real good, we're gonna do that.
Please remain seated.
A talent card, perhaps? No, just a skill. Oh, they had one. Alright, I get that, I get that.
Let's hit the town.
Yes, you are forced to go there. We are simply going to play another Paimon, and our opponent will be in quite the trouble next round. They've done what? 2 crystallizes this entire game, so there's not going to be... I mean, they've already spent 1 bullet, so there's a maximum of 5 bullets in their deck. Quite unlikely that we'll see one here anytime soon, like any big shots. Now, with this amount of dice, we can do quite a lot. And I think I want to... I mean, I do want to do this. So actually, let's do like that, so we can get damage on their number 1 cannon, which is of course Navia. Because now our burst is threatening to take out Navia, they either have to play another Georesonance or they have to switch. Which means we can burst.
The banquet is nearing its end.
And our opponent will, as you can see, gonna be in quite trouble, since getting rid of that stack of point of life is not gonna be easy. Now we need to be mindful of Chiori burst here, so we are going to switch to Lanyan. They anyway have an element on all of their characters, so it's not gonna be too bad. That may help you a little, but it's not going to be enough, my friend. If you end your round, we are just going to go in with Arlecchino. Very well.
No need to fret.
Skill here, unfortunately not enough, so we are first going to do a normal attack at 10. Reapply the skill. It's not that bad that we lose some stacks here. Actually, I mean, I can just end my round on Arlecchino and there's not going to be any trouble, I believe. Because that's going to cleanse, but it's not going to regain any HP. And then we can just swap stall a little there. Anyway, can't go to Navia. Yeah, we'll just end here. They'll probably redo Barbara's skill here just to get another crystallize. They anyway do not have that many cards, so what's the worst that can happen? They are going to have 4 bullets and what? That's not going to be enough. Another talent card. Questionable whether it's gonna be useful, but maybe I will keep those pyro dice. They cannot go to now, yeah, that's for sure. They might want to burst Barbara, which would heal the Bond of Life, but that would be the rest of her dice, and then I can just switch to Frost Operative, do a shit ton of damage. I like that, I like that. I could do a burst here, but we only have 2 stacks and 4 stacks here, so I'm actually just going to do a skill so that the blood depth directive here resets.
I've been waiting.
I'm assuming we are okay. Then we are going to go here.
Let's hit the town.
And they do, and that's very good for us.
Hey there!
Nice swirl from there. Still stopping the Bond of Life from actually giving them any HP back. I do not have Lanyan Burst, but since I can proc Liben, I might as well end here. They anyway have the bullets from the talent card in hand. And look at that, we have enough Bond of Life on Barbara that the burst will do absolutely nothing. Oh, and we got the fast swap. This is already our game. No amount of... Actually, well, Georesonance will help them a little, but... I don't think there's gonna be much of that. I mean, playing bullets first thing is kind of desperate, my guy. You're getting quite desperate, the guy. If I see you've been playing some tournaments, have they not taught you anything there? Number one thing, if you are against a Frost Operative on stall deck, you are gonna be screwed. Hey, look at that, they actually did something. Give them a round of applause as their grand plan slowly gets... Well, I'll see you in the next one. Another Navia deck, this time with Kachina and Mawika, and as you might know, Mawika has been somewhat nerfed in the recent patch with the skill now costing 3 dice. That of course affects, well, mostly these types of decks that want to go or want to do as much damage as they can on round 1.
I shall handle this.
Or usually want to do as much damage as they want on round 1. But when you are playing a deck that does set up round 1, the skill cost is not that big of a deal. I mean, it's a good thing, especially, yeah, it's a good nerf so that the decks that go in round 1 aren't as effective, but it's not that special in the long run if you do setup round 1, because, I mean, just do setup. Because we want the Pyro on Kachina, we are gonna be playing the talent card here to stall. If they even switch to Kachina, that is. They do. That makes me think they have Covenant. No, hold on. Wrong bike. My mistake. They are not going to be switching, so we are just going to do... what? Full setup? 3 for the weapon, 1 for that, or 3-3-1. Or perhaps these two, and then next round this one. I mean, I do want to play that one, that's for sure. We are going to play Timaeus. Okay, we are gonna be playing Tenacity next round. At this point we might as well play Strategize. Okay. Now what? I do wanna play that, especially because we have the talent card. So we're gonna play that and this. Probably because we are against Gachina. Having extra HP would be real nice. Let's do that. We're not gonna be wasting one die here, but that's not big of a deal since, I mean, our opponent doesn't go in there doing the setup route with the Flame Strider, which is good for us. The more time they spend not getting bullets for their Navia is more time for us to go do our setup and get ready to beat the shit out of them. Now I think we are not going to play the weapon. Yeah, let's not play the weapon so that we can actually still somewhat threaten their characters. We cannot snipe Mawika here. But I think what we will actually do here is Lanyan's skill. We're once again then going to waste. No, but hold on, I can switch back to Arlecchino. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Because this way we get the Pyro on Gachina onto Navi, and then the Frost Operative is going to be a real threat, and we already now have such amount of shields that if we end our round on Arlecchino, she's basically not going to take any damage. That is interesting, but I can understand why. They are using Storm Terror Slayer, so they quite likely have Mawika's talent card. So they have the Prospector's Drill so that they can, you know, easily discard Mawika's 3-cost Pike for some extra crystallized reactions.
An insurmountable problem, I presume.
Okay, well, once again, that's not big of a deal for us. We have enough shields here that we aren't going to take any damage. Of course, once again we are going to be wasting some dice. That's unfortunate, but we can live with that. Also, considering the fact they did not play any bike on Mawika, they most likely have a 3-cost bike in hand. We mostly need to care about that if they... well, next round. No surprise there. But they did not play, what's it called? Liquid Phlogiston, so there's not going to be any extra attacks. I mean, maybe with Geodice free swap they can do something, but okay, Varnara, I can respect that. As you can also see here, Arlecchino did not take any damage from all of that. Meaning I don't think we need to actually reapply the skill, we can just fast swap to Frost Operative, because that opponent's deck will not have any form of healing unless they have some... I mean, then again, they do have Prospector's Drill, they might have some tricks up their sleeve. Actually, hold on, do I have enough dice? One free skill, 1, 2... and switching away. Okay, we are actually going to do a skill here, so that the discard happens, we get that dice from there, and now Gachina isn't protected as much from our Frost Operative, with the added benefit, of course, that we can get more point of life on Arlecchino. I think... do I want to... no, we do not want to fast swap so that we can fast swap back to Arlecchino and usually take out any of their characters once we've gone in with our Frost Operative. Of course, now we have the downside that the Operative, or actually Arlecchino, is taking pierce damage. So maybe the better, you know, setup for characters once again would be have the Frost Operative in the middle, for example, or Arlecchino in the middle. So that in this kind of scenario, Arlecchino would not take that pierce damage, but because we almost have the burst and we anyway are gonna be threatening to take out Gachina here, I doubt it will be any sort of trouble. Now if they're a smart guy, they are going to switch, because they should realize that, hold on, Gachina is going to die here. And because Navia has Pyro, they do not want to go to Navia, so they most likely go to Mawika. To which I say another skill. And I could possibly even burst. Maybe. In that scenario we will not have enough dice to switch away, and I dislike that. But we will be taking another skill here so that we have the burst ready and probably just end our round on Lan Yan. It is quite unfortunate we do not have any of our Libens here, because we are gonna be once again wasting some dice. Actually, I could also just go to Arlecchino from here. It's like, okay, burst would take out Mawika. But now they also have to like switch, do the skill, then they can do. But they have 2 stacks of Night Soul on Mawika. I kind of want to just kill her. I mean, that would leave Navia as somewhat of a problem. Gachina is easy to get now that she has bunch of. This is a little tricky. A little tricky, I do have to say so myself. But I think we'll just burst here. Unfortunately, we are most likely going to lose Frost Operative. The good thing is that they did not go to Navia. That means they most likely do not have Navia talent on hand. Because I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity to go for Navia talents. Now we do have to take some hits here, but are they gonna do enough? Now they might do. Now they're gonna do enough. All right. We are going to take our Arlecchino here so that the
an insurmountable problem,
you know,
I presume.
Bond of Life and whatnot are going to be taking the hits for us. This might actually turn out a little bad for us. Maybe I shouldn't have bursted after all, but they can only do one more skill. There's not going to be a death. And considering they only have 2 cards in hand. Okay. But the Gamblers is on Gachina. The likelihood that they have another is low at best. I think we are going to switch to Lan Yan to get some shields. But if they go for a skill, of course we do not have, I haven't lost yet. I'm thinking we are going to slow swap to Lan Yan, banking on the fact that they do not have another gamblers in hand. Actually, we could do it like this and then it would be fine. We want Serenity out of those. Not exactly the one I wanted, but
Coming.
will do. Of course, the downside here is our dice. We cannot burst Arlecchino this round. Most likely fishing for bullets. Of course, bullets are quite useless against Arlecchino, but we do not have quite enough point of life for that to be meaningful. Now if we fast swap, we are going to do what? 5 damage. Which is not gonna be enough because of the drill. Not enough if we do that. We aren't gonna be getting shields from that. The enemy gonna have to do the skill, so
No
we are
need
going
to
to switch
fret.
back.
I shall handle
If
this.
they want to fight, they're going to have to do the skill, which is enough time for us to normal attack. Like so, and now they have to either switch or do a technique which gives us the die. Of course, now the Mystic Soup will most likely get wasted. Oh, is that gonna be enough? No, it's not.
No! I messed up.
Now the problem is that if they have a bunch of bullets, we are going to be in trouble. Well, we might get to see one more game in this video. Especially with these dice, for fuck's sake, man. God damn it.
Watch out!
Okay, they did have. I was afraid of that considering they played the... I mean, what else I'm going to do? I don't have a single anime die here. Well, we are going to see one more game.
Watch out!
And I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, now.
Now might this be our final game? We'll see. Up against Cloud with, well, I'm guessing this is a Sino deck with Frost Operative being like the #1 cannon to use. Of course, our Arlecchino doesn't mind, because I mean if they want
An
to collect stacks
insurmountable
for us
problem, I
so that the
presume.
burst will heal us a whole lot, I don't mind that. Of course, that means we actually do need to get the burst.
Your penance is due!
But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Delved into destiny.
Doing a skill, of course, of course. Okay. Now let's think about this. Yes, just throw that in the air. Okay, I think we'll do like this, hoping to get Serenity is just perfect for us here. We can do a skill. We can play Timaeus and we can switch. Unfortunately, we did not get the Arlecchino's talent card here. For real? Very well. You do you. Maybe in this case I actually want to end my round here. Yes, let's end our round on Arlecchino so that there's no unnecessary reflections on the field. We can fast swap to Lanya and get some shields, spread the Pyro, spread the Bond of Life, and then go to Frost Operative. If we have the dice, that is. Oh, good enough, good enough. But do I want to... It's gonna be a bunch of free swap So it's going to be only one attack from there. Alternatively, maybe 2 attacks. I think we are going to do this. Yes. Not quite what I was hoping for, but we can live with that.
Coming.
Don't think we need another one of those.
Up and away.
Now we have the shields, we have the Bond of Life are all around.
Shadows of fate.
And not sure our opponent is maybe going for a Mono Burst here. Interesting tactic of theirs. I mean, sure, you do you. I'll just keep doing what I keep doing. So they will most likely Frost Operative skill for double damage. We are gonna have Lan Yan take all of that. Of course, now there's a little bit of a threat that they can do a bunch of freezing, but I don't think it's gonna be too bad. At least it shouldn't be. Of course, we now have to consider whether we want to freeze Arlecchino or the Frost Operative. Of course, depending whether they go to their Frost Operative, which they do. Expected that is. Not quite enough to take out Lan Yan. Since I have the talent card, I do think we will let Frost Operative get frozen here. Even if getting a bunch of Bond of Life on Arlecchino would be nice, but because we do not have the energy to do anything with it, we are going to let it go. Now, because there's the probability that they throw something extra our way, we are going to, of course, go to Lan Yan first. They aren't planning to throw anything extra at us. That is very nice. We can reapply the skill. We can actually now hold on. I could let Lan Yan go here so that we would have Frost Operative ready. I think that's a good way. And now that we have the talent card, I do think we can just wait and play Tenacity next round. We anyway have the Mystic Soup for Frost Operative, so we can make sure she stays alive a little longer, hopefully. Or at least, you know, we can keep her around a little longer. Normal attack, I see, so they are saving the burst. Well, we are gonna be taking our chances with Fury here, which actually is not enough, so we are gonna be using Serenity. Yeah, it would not have been enough, and this way they must use their extra damage cards if they want to take out our Frost Operative here and now. Of course, with the added benefit that now our Arlecchino can take out their Frost Operative straight from there. Unless they play the Winds of Freedom Arcane card.
Please hold for just a moment.
Like that. Now, even if Sino gets the bonus there, it's not gonna be much, and so we can just... Should I? No, we can do a normal attack. We most likely want to burst. Simply so that there's... Okay.
into
We will not be
destiny.
bursting here. But this leaves us at a predicament, I do have to say. But we do have bunch of stacks. And they did just use their extra damage card, so... I think we are going to redo the skill so that if they switch to Sino, we can have an easier time to get a more point of life onto him. And then we can just save the rest of our dice. Oh, actually I should have... I am stupid. Well, no matter. Sino is now a threat, but we do have tenacity, we have the talent card as well, so there should be still a fighting chance. Though this is a little scary, of course, because Sino has full HP. And no bond of life in sight. The best we can hope for is that they have bad dice. So what? Yes, of course, of course. It's gonna do what, 5-6 damage, -3. Because the second attack would do an equal amount. Actually, no. But even if they have anything that gives them more HP, that's going to be trouble. So we are just going to
Everlasting
burst
as the
here.
moon.
We anyway are going to have one stack of bond of life to tank the damage. That's not a problem. We are just going to normal attack and take Mona out.
The stars are fading.
They did have bad dice. Quite unfortunate, my friend. We of course are almost back to a burst. Of course now we do not have quite the bond of life. But I don't think it's gonna be too big of a problem unless they pull out more healing cards here. Well, Serene, it's not going to be much, but the... what is it? Mystic Soup might be something. Okay, talent card and random, yeah, something, okay. Well, let's think about this. We can do a skill, but they do not have the dice for another attack, so a burst should be just enough to finish the game.
This is where you fall.
And that's gonna be all for today. I'll see you in the next one.